Rick clocks into work 5 minutes late this morning. Traffic was crazy. And he looks up and he sees his manager heading directly towards him from across the room. And his manager walks up and he says,
Rick, I can't have you late anymore. We gotta fix this.
See, Rick has a huge dream. He wants to be a millionaire. More importantly than that, Rick is not only late because of traffic, but more importantly, he's unfulfilled. He's not happy. He doesn't like the people he's working with. He doesn't like what he does, but more importantly, he doesn't make the money that he deserves. And at the end of the day, Rick goes home, he gets on his PlayStation, he plays games, he texts his girlfriend, and his girlfriend asks him, like, how was your day? And Rick says, like, yo, like, it's awful. This whole year has just been not it. And his girlfriend asks him, says, Rick, why don't you just start your own business? And Rick responds with a complete list of all the excuses of why he has not started his own business. He doesn't have time. He doesn't know how. He doesn't have the right information. He doesn't even know where he would start. And these are all what a lot of us would consider valid excuses. But there's another guy. His name's Luke. He works at the same company, works the same position. He has the same dream. But at the end of the day, instead of playing video games, instead of making excuses, Luke sets enough time where he can work on himself and work on his business. 5 years later, Rick is at the same position, even worse off than he was, making the same salary, less happy. His girlfriend left him, and Luke is now a millionaire. Luke is living in the same world, but a different paradigm than Rick. Luke believes that, he can do, be, or have anything he wants, and he believes that, so he's going to actually go out and put the work in. One thing that I know for sure is if you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to do it. Rick is living in the same exact situation as Luke, but he doesn't get the same results because ultimately he believes that the world is happening to him and he may not actually be able to he just has a whole list of excuses on why it's not going to work for him. So let's talk about how to be a millionaire in 5 years. I would do it like this. I started my company. One of the first ones that I started was a marketing agency. We did really well. We started making money. We saw some results. Inevitably, after a few months, what happened? We would get a call from our clients and they'd be like, Jack, we love you. We love your service, but these leads we're getting, they're not qualified. Like, we're not making any money. And ultimately, we're going to have to cancel the service. And I had a choice. I could just sit back and be like, oh, this sucks. Or I could actually try to fix it. And so what I would do is I would pick up the phone and start calling my clients leads that we got them. And what I found is it's not that these people were unqualified. It's that the companies, they just didn't know how to talk to the leads and help them become a client. Now, could these companies sell? Absolutely. A lot of them, the problem was they just didn't know how to build trust with online leads, because online, a lot of people just don't have the same trust as walking into like a brick and mortar store. And so we came in, we closed these deals, or we set appointments with these companies that ultimately closed the deal. And we started to solve the problem. We're like, hey, it's not necessarily the marketing, it's turning the lead into a client. We need a sales rep in there. And so we started doing it and we started practicing it and we started learning it and we started closing deals and we got better and we started recruiting and we started training. And this is what happens, right? Everybody, when they want to set out on their entrepreneurial journey, they're like Rick, they're like Luke, they look online and they see all these options and it's like information overload. I remember it was for me because I tried it all. I did Amazon, I did affiliate marketing, e-com, dropship. I tried every single one of them. And the issue is there's so many moving parts. There's customer service, there's supply, there's payday, there's refund requests. There's so many things. You got to deliver a good product. There's so many things that can go wrong. And as a beginner, right? Now this is as a beginner. This is like Rick and Luke, who's in a 9-to-5 that have, normal skills, but they haven't actually started their entrepreneurial journey. I don't recommend hopping into building a business. The first step that I'm going to take, because I want to make $1 million and I want to do it as quick as possible. We got 5 years and I want to nail it down. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to build one skill. It's the skill of sales. And I say that because I know the industry and I know the market right now. Everybody needs sales reps. If you're good at sales, you'll be hired. If you think you're good at sales and you don't have a position, there's two problems. You don't know how to find a position, or you're not really good at sales or as good as you think. So I'm gonna learn and master the skill of sales. How do you do that if you're brand new? You may be like, Jack, I don't know how to sell. The cool thing is all the information is available online. Now, the information is part one. You gotta know how communication works. You got to learn how to talk to people. You got to learn how to close deals. The best way to do that is to get the information. The part 2 of that is to actually get into a position and do it. The best way to learn is to actually do it, not learn from someone else. And so that's step 1. We need to learn. We need to find a position. So I'm going to go out, and I'm not just going to try to talk to every company that I see. I'm going to make a list of all the companies in industries that I'm passionate about. So if I like real estate, I'm going to write real estate down. If I like sports, I'm going to write sports down. If I like fitness and exercise, I'm going to write that down. And now I have a list of industries or niches that I am passionate about. I'm not going to go, if I like sports, fitness, I'm not going to go work in like beauty or hair or something like that. We're going to work in an industry that we're passionate about and we believe in, we know about. The reason is when we start selling their product, we're like skilled in it and we believe in it. Now, I'm starting to get my skill up. I'm finding a company to partner with. I finally found a good one that has a high ticket product or service. Now this company, they sell a product that is $7,500, let's say. I'm gonna earn commission for every product I sell. And so I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna get in there, I'm gonna get better and better. Now, I'm gonna commit to this company for 3 years. You don't have to do it formally, but in my head, I'm like, hey, I'm going to commit to this craft of learning sales for 3 years, because I know if I get really good at sales, my next step that I'm going to tell you here shortly, I'm going to be able to take off, and it's not going to take me a year to do what I want to do. So I'm practicing, I'm committing for 3 years, and I've got really good at sales. The first year I may do $40,000 to $60,000, $40,000 to $80,000 if you're even better as a beginner. Second year, I'm going to do 6 figures. Third year, I'm going to do multi-6 figures. Now that's good, but that's not $1 million. Even if we do 200,000, 250,000, in 3 years, we're not going to get there. In 10 years, we're still not going to be a millionaire. In 5 years, we're not going to be a millionaire because we have expenses. I want to add, during this time, we need to be as minimal as possible. We need to be as stoic as possible. We need to not start spending money. There's a theory called death by 1,000 cuts. You make a little money, you think you got it, and slowly you start buying things and you have to keep up with this lifestyle. So we're going to start taking our money and we're going to go 20 to 30, we're going to get aggressive, 20 to 40%, we're going to move aside and we're going to save. We're going to pay ourselves for later. That way it can start investing and it can start compounding and give us money back. So this is my process, right? We have the skill sales. 3 years later, we're really strong, okay? And now I know we need to make $1 million. I'm going to take the leap, okay? We have a skill, and there's 3 routes that I would go. Very simple. The first route is I would start my own business. This is gonna be the most popular route, and I would do something in the industry that I was selling in. So it may be similar to the company that I worked with. It may be going out and doing something better or a little bit different than the company I worked with, but I would go out and start my company, okay? This is gonna put you on your path. You have 2 years to do $700,000 to $800,000, okay? Maybe less, maybe more. Now, that's one path. That's probably the most popular path. The other option would be to manage sales teams. So instead of like a full-on business, you're teaching other people how to sell and you're putting them in companies and you're managing a sales team. So that would be another route in 3 years. And the third route, which is slept on, and I believe is really the most powerful route, is you've brought so much value to this company. Now what you do is you're gonna move up the company and move into like an operator role where you can get value, you can get, equity, you can get a rev share and get value in the upside of the company. So the more you grow the company, the more your wealth grows and you can get paid for it. You already know the company. They already trust you. You don't have to build a company. You just have to bring value to it. I want to go back a step. When I'm taking these sales calls in the first 3 years, in the blank spaces, I'm taking all my time and I'm putting it into learning, growing, self-development. I'm going to be more like Luke. I'm going to be like Luke, but I'm going to beat his ass too. I'm going to be better than Luke. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to grind. I'm going to learn. I'm going to develop myself. And I'm taking all that information and I'm putting it into myself. So when I move up and I start my own thing or I lead teams, I have all these skills, leadership. I have discipline that I've developed. I have the ability to communicate, to close deals. And if there's a problem in my business, I know how to fix it because I can sell, right? And if I need to lead a sales team, I know how to sell. I can communicate. I can galvanize people. I can get them excited. And if I'm working in this company, I can bring a lot to the table because I've already been there and I have these talents, this knowledge that I've been learning in my free time. So this is the route I'm taking. But more importantly, I want to ask you, what route are you taking? Because you could be like Rick, and you could be just getting out of college. You could be working a 9 to 5, and you know you want more, but you are going to make a whole list of excuses on why you shouldn't. Or you could be like Luke, and you put in the work, and eventually you work enough where you get out of that 9 to 5 and you start sales. You get into it and you grow up and you start to build, and then a few years later you start your own thing and it blows up. My question is, which one are you? And what are you going to do? Either path, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be hardships along the way. You can start your sales journey, and guess what? As soon as you do, it's going to get extremely difficult because you're outside your comfort zone. It's a new world. And it's going to push on you to go back to your 9 to 5 where it's safe. Or you can go into your 9 to 5 and you can have your manager yell at you, and you could just be unhappy in this one life that we have.